How to install a kitchen faucet. Hiring a plumber to install a kitchen faucet is expensive. Installing it yourself is easy, actually one of the easiest and most basic plumbing tasks. Doing the work yourself will ensure that water is the only thing that goes down the drain, not your money. Get started with step 1 below to learn how to install a kitchen faucet. Steps. 1. Turn off the hot and cold water lines. The cutoff valves, there should be 2, should be located beneath the sink. Very rarely they will be located somewhere else, such as in a basement or utility shed. Usually, turning the valves clockwise shuts them off. You can leave the tap running slightly while you turn the valves if you want to know for sure. Be very gentle, especially if it's been a long time since the valves have been moved. 2. Turn on the existing faucet. This will relieve pressure in the water lines and let you check to be sure that the pipes are turned off. If the faucet has 2 controls, make sure they are both empty before continuing. This means turning both handles or, if you have an omni-directional handle, turning it to both far sides to fully empty the supply line. 3. Detach the existing faucet from the sink. Unscrew the nuts that hold the faucet to the sink. These are typically located underneath the sink, directly below where the faucet connects to the sink. These nuts are sometimes recognizable because they do not look quite like normal nuts if the sink is fairly modern, looking instead more like a target or clock. If the nuts are on top of the sink, remove the handles and deck plates. This will allow you to access the nuts. 4. Clean the sink surface. You want to be sure that the new fixture is going down on a clean surface. Remove any grime and putty, as necessary. A putty knife is the best tool for this task. Be extra sure to remove mold and rust, to keep these from creating problems with the new fixture. 5. Place new putty onto the new deck plate. If your faucet came with a rubber or plastic gasket instead of a putty plate, set it onto the appropriate holes on your sink. If your faucet did not come with a putty plate or a gasket, place plumber's putty on the underside of the rim of the deck plate. Put this string of plumber's putty into the groove of the deck plate and lightly press it into place. 6. Place the new deck plate and faucet. Make sure that all of the holes are accounted for. If you are changing the method with which the faucet mounts, you may need to drill a new hole for the mounting hardware, moving from one mounting point to 2, for example. Follow the manufacturer's instructions to prepare your deck plate and faucet to be put in place. This usually means mounting 2 bolts onto the deck plate. Sometimes the faucet may need to be added after the deck plate, sometimes it may be necessary to do them both at the same time. 7. Install the washers and mounting hardware. Usually this means fastening with a nut and washer at each of the bolts holding the deck plate, as well as a nut and washer holding the faucet itself at the center. Be sure to follow the faucet manufacturer's instructions. Use your hands to tighten the nuts. Verify that the deck plate and faucet are in the appropriate place. Use a wrench to tighten the nuts the rest of the way. Be careful not to over-tighten them. 8. Clean the area. Remove excess plumber's putty from the surface of the sink and faucet base. Use a putty knife or a utility knife. You may want to further seal this area with caulk or a similar sealant later, if the connection isn't strong enough. 9. Connect the water supply lines. Use your hands to tighten the supply lines to the faucet's water connections. Tighten the connections further with a wrench. If the water supply lines appear old or cracked, replace them as well. 10. Turn the supply lines on. Make sure the faucet is in the off position. Check for leaks in the supply lines and faucet. Check for leaks again with the faucet on. If a leak is found, evaluate each step you completed to make sure it was done properly. Some connections might work better with or require plumber's tape. If there are still leaks, contact the manufacturer of the faucet or a professional plumber for further guidance. If no leaks are found, you are finished. Tips. Plumber's putty keeps water out of the cabinet below the sink. Be careful not to over-tighten the nuts or supply lines while installing your faucet. Handles and deck plates can typically be removed by using a Phillips screwdriver or Allen wrench. Some hot and cold water supply lines require plumber's tape around their threaded part. If this is the case with yours, wrap the tape around in a counterclockwise fashion. Recheck the new faucet periodically for leaks. This will help you avoid water damage. Warnings. Keep some extra towels and a bucket around to catch water in case of leaks. Things. New faucet and included accessories. Phillips screwdriver or Allen wrench. Plumber's putty. Plumber's tape, optional. Putty knife or utility knife.